Hello guys, welcome to Next Gen Tech Savvy. We are going to check that how to create a simple Spring Boot application using the SpringSTS and Eclipse IDE. So first of all, we are going to open the SpringSTS workspace. Okay, it will take some time to open the application. Open the IDE. Now we are going to create new Spring Starter project and provide the name as Hello World. Then we have to provide the group id as com next gen tech savvy, artifact id hello world, and description demo project for Spring Boot. Then provide the package name com.nextgentechsavvy.hello world and click next. Now you have to provide the dependencies Spring DevTools web and web services and click on next. So guys, you can add different other dependencies. So like if you want to add the web service and web socket, then we have to use the web and then Spring reactive webs and all these things. You can also use the SQL to add the different database things like Spring Batch, Azure Common DB, and Spring Data or Apache, etc. You can also use the JPA for adding the Spring Data JPA like that. So we are using the Spring Boot DevTools, Spring Web, and Spring Web Services. Now click on finish. So our Spring application is going to execute and it is created and import getting started. So it will import all the dependencies related to that which we have mentioned inside the pom.xml. So first we are going to open the pom.xml and check that the dependencies are working added or not. Now we are using the Spring Java version 1.8, so we are going to change this version, parent version, to 2.4.3, and also we are going to change the Java version from 17 to 1.8, and once again save it. And description is demo project for Spring Boot. You can change the description as you wish. So you can see that it starts building. Now there is some error is showing, so we are going to right click on this application and then go to Maven and update project and force update the screenshots, and it will further building and errors are removed. Okay, now we are going to Java section, open the package and open the hello world application.java. Now you can see that okay, say some error, just minimize it. Okay, Spring Boot applications and Spring application hello world application dot class is added. Now you can go the resources, open the application dot properties files. So this is the default configuration file. So we are going to add spring dot application dot name equals to hello world. Okay, you can use the different properties here. Spring Boot provides a reset of application properties file, different categories. There are by default minimum 16 categories or more. So okay, there is some error, let me check. Okay, everything is fine, still getting error. Okay, we are going to further do the Maven and update project. Okay, it is updating the things and still we are getting the errors. So in application properties file you have to write the things properly. So let me remove this and rewrite the name. Okay, multiple markers at this line is sphere is okay. Just remove this Spring. Okay, and rewrite the things. Okay, let me check now. Save this. Yeah, it's gone. Now we are going to right click on the package and add the controller class, because we are going to use the REST controller and fetching the values in the web. Okay, so we are creating the hello world REST controller and hello world controller class, and remaining things left same. Okay, now the controller class is created. Now we are going to add the annotation at the REST controller, which you need to write first for any source of REST controller, creation of REST controller. Now we are going to import the things like import org.spring framework. Okay, by default it will not take. Let me check once. No, it is not going to take this. Okay, but doing the same things. Okay, so org framework, then .web.bind. Use the bind and enter, then it will take all the annotations, all the dependent things. So we are using the bind dot annotation dot at the rate. So rest controller, we are using the rest controller. Okay, now we are import this class. Now we are using the at the rate request mapping. This is the entry point at the request mapping, and double quote, put the values equals to hello world / hello world, you can say, or you can use any name. Okay, similarly we have to copy up to annotation and then import only at the rate request mapping. Now we are using the get mapping, and we have to provide the test. Here you can also use any name and provide the method public. We are going to return some string, so string, and we are going to give the name as hello world test, the method name, and put a return statement, return, and provide a statement like sample spring boot hello world spring STS example and thanks. Okay, so when we are going to hit the browser with this URL, then we are getting this message. So for get mapping, we are further copy the up to annotation and use the get mapping as import, get mapping class import. Now we are going to further update the project. There is no need to update the project each and every time, but sometimes it is helpful. So now we are going to run the application. So going to run as, and then Maven build. So we have to now configure the Maven run configuration. So in goal we are using this spring-boot :run and apply, click on run, remind me later. Okay, now open the console. So now you can see that the spring application is going to build, and it started at Tomcat server 8280 port. Okay, now we are going to open the browser and type http://localhost. We are using the run the Tomcat 8080 port / our entry point URL hello world / get mapping URL test, and enter. Okay, there is some error, it is not find the mapping. So we are going to check that what happened. We find that the value should be out of the double quote, and inside the double quote only / hello world is there. Okay, now this is the okay, this is the error. So guys, when you create this, so we have to check it properly before executing. Now we are using the dev tool, so it is automatically rebuilt. Now we're going to hit okay. We are getting the same output, sample spring boot hello world spring STS example on browser. So in this way you are going to create a simple spring boot application in spring STS. using JDK 1.8. Okay, now we are going to see this is the same message which we are going to return from our application. Okay, by hitting this request mapping. Okay, same thing from SpringSTS working workspace to Eclipse IDE workspace. Okay, copy is done. Now we are going to change the port because we are going to run the same application in Eclipse IDE. So if the port is same, it is not working because Tomcat is already taking 8080. So we are going to change this to port 8000 8000 and further going to run the application. Okay, it's running. It starts build and run. Okay, now Tomcat is started on 8000 port. Now we are going to check that, hit this 8080. It will give error because the port is changed, so make it 8000. Now it's okay, fine. Okay, so in this way you can change the port. Now we already copied this in Eclipse workspace. Now going to open the Eclipse IDE. Now going to the Eclipse workspace, launch the Eclipse workspace. It will take few seconds or few moments to open. Okay, now we have already hello world application in Eclipse workspace. So we are going to browse and import the application. We are not going to recreate the things, just we are going to check and run the application. So it's importing the Maven dependencies, building the workspace. Now we are going to check everything is fine or not. Open the hello world controller and also check this application properties, it's fine. Now going to hello world controller and change the message. So we are going to change, instead of SpringSTS we are using the writing the Eclipse IDE because we are going to run this application in Eclipse IDE. Okay, and right click and it's configured and going to Maven build, going to console and it starts building. Okay, fine. Tomcat started 8080 port. Okay, okay, now we are going to open the browser. See here already it's running on 8000 port for SpringSTS. Now we are using the localhost, same we are copy paste the URL and change the 8000 to 880 port and hit the browser URL. So we can say, see it's showing sample Spring Boot hello world Eclipse IDE example, which is the same, it is written from the Eclipse. So guys, in this way we are creating the hello world simple application using the SpringSTS and Eclipse IDE.